I'm Guy Fieri, and you're listening to Beyond the Plate with the one, the only. I think he jumped the Grand Canyon, the Capster.
Hey everyone, this is Cappy, and you're listening to Just the Plate, a production of Beyond the Plate. Just the Plate is a short segment where chefs describe a dish or a recipe that is meaningful to them. Last week, you heard from Chef Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri is a chef, restaurateur, best-selling author, Emmy Award-winning TV host. He's opened over 63 restaurants around the world. I rephrase that. He has over 63 restaurants. He's probably opened more than that. In 2013, he launched Hunt and Ride Winery in Sonoma County, named for his two sons, Hunter and Ryder. Fieri supports numerous charities, including his own, Cooking with Kids, as well as the Make-A-Wish Foundation and Best Buddies International. If you missed last week's episode with Guy, please be sure to check that one out. But for now, Chicken Marsala. Just a heads up before we start. This episode does get a little staticky and muffled here and there. This is because Guy was actually driving in his car on his way to set in California to shoot Triple G, Guy's Grocery Games. So there are parts that will come in and out in a way, but I will write this recipe down as he said it and put it on the Beyond the Plate website. But also, please note, as I like to say, use this recipe as a guide. If you like a little more Marsala, use a little more. If you like it a little sweeter, a little less sweet, spicy, not spicy, he hits on some of these notes throughout the episode. Back to Chicken Marsala. When I go to a traditional Italian-style restaurant, Chicken Marsala is usually my go-to dish. It's one of his favorites, too. It's a family favorite of his. He gives some really neat variations. White meat, which is pretty traditional. We talk about using dark meat. I may be trying that one soon. With that, I'll stop talking. This is Just the Plate.
I'll do one of my favorites. So is Guy Fieri. One of my family's favorites is Chicken Marsala. Now, Chicken Marsala is in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. It's, you start off with chicken breast and give them a nice cut. I'm not a big fan of pounding out chicken breast, so I think if you get a nice large chicken breast, you can slice off about 3 even slices, Milanese slices. That's a great way to start, and liberally dredge them in seasoned flour with a little salt and pepper. So you take it and brown it off in some olive oil. Just kind of put a nice little brown to them. That's it, because they're going to cook again. And just sit there and let them drain on a cookie rack, just to make sure that you don't have it retaining a bunch of oil or getting soggy. I like a little bit of the texture and a little bit of the crunch on the outside of that chicken. Then once you've browned off all the chicken, considering that you haven't left a bunch of flour in there and burned your oil, if you have, then you need to replace your oil. But the key is reserve that oil to start your shallots. So about a quarter cup of shallots. As many shallots and garlic as you like. Brown those shallots off, really kind of just get them translucent, and more than brown them. Cook them, get them translucent, add in your minced garlic, again to your preference, and your excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Shallots, cremini mushrooms, saute those cremini mushrooms and chop them how you like them. If you like them big and bold, go with it. We like them thin sliced. My wife likes them when they mushrooms kind of melt into the sauce. Then in with a little bit of then in with some garlic, let that go, some fresh thyme, a little tomato paste, about a tablespoon of tomato paste, again, considering that we're making this for about 4 people, and then deglaze with some Marsala. And again, that's kind of a preference. Hit it with, just kind of let it reduce down a little bit, and then to kind of get it up to the level of the sauce you want it to be. Do you want it to be real tacky? You leave it as is. If you want a little bit more sauce to it, if you're going to be putting this over maybe some polenta and you want a little more sauce to spoon out a little chicken stock. Once you get it to the sauce consistency you like, drop your chicken breast back in. This is going to tighten up a little bit now because there's still some, residual thickening properties from the chicken breasts themselves. Let those simmer inside of that sauce just to warm back up and not lose too much of their texture. Mount it with a tablespoon of butter and some fresh cracked pepper, and zest it with just a little bit of lemon. And serve it over couscous, serve it over polenta, over quinoa. I mean, we go all over the board. Cauliflower it goes great with, but it's a real nice, sweet, tangy, garlicky sauce with tender chicken, and there you have it.
Awesome. That's it, dude.
It's a dish that we do. And if I don't have chicken breasts, I'll use chicken thighs. I love it with chicken thighs. Unfortunately, it doesn't present as pretty, but of course, I'm always a fan of the chicken thigh over the chicken breast. So, take it as you use it. Some people use the tomato paste in there. Some use the thyme in there. Some do, some don't. That's the way we like to make it, and it goes pretty well.
The funny thing is that chicken marsala is one of my go-to dishes when I'm at like a home-style Italian restaurant.
Well, and the funny thing is it's one for me as well. I unfortunately think that there's more bad chicken marsala than there is good chicken marsala.
I agree.
But when you can find somebody that's really knocking it out of the park, it's dynamite. And I think that marsala sauce, I just don't want it so sweet. That the real kicker to that is getting that tomato paste in there and cooking it out. But get that tomato paste in there really, and the thyme really changes the game.
I love the chicken thigh idea too. I'm a fan of that as well.
Totally, bro. And the great thing is you can hammer that chicken thigh, really cook it out. And then when you drop it in that sauce, it just, all the crunch and all the funk just soaks it right up. Oh, it's a meal in itself. But we take it, and when I do it with the thigh, I take it and cut the thigh up and then toss it with pasta.
Nice.
And get that marsala sauce tossed into a penne rigate. Oh, bro, it's gangster.
That sounds good, man. All right, well, I'll be making this soon.
Well, listen, if it made your mouth water, then I did it right.
For sure. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Have a good day shooting.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Ciao.
Find more on Guy Fieri at guyfieri.com. This episode was produced by me, along with Ian Cohen and Joel Yeaton. You can find me and keep up to date with this podcast across all social media platforms at On Cappy's Plate or go to beyondtheplatepodcast.com. Please rate, review, and or subscribe to this podcast on your listening site of choice. Thank you for listening to Just the Plate, a production of Beyond the Plate. I'm Cappy.